Hello there, and welcome to the Mindfulness Hub. I'm Asia. I'm a coach, mindfulness teacher, and creative arts facilitator. And in this space, I share what I practice and what I'm most passionate about. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm grateful you found this space. If you are interested in mindfulness, would like to know more, already have a practice, or would like to practice in a guided space, then I invite you to subscribe if you'd like. And if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, I immensely appreciate your support. Thank you for valuing my work. That said, today we will be exploring this idea of inevitable pain and avoidable suffering, which really comes from Buddhist teachings, but is ingrained in the way mindfulness is taught in the mainstream. After that, we'll be doing a mindfulness practice together where we'll be doing a body scan and also looking at this idea of inevitable pain and avoidable suffering in our practice. And at the end, I will say a loving kindness prayer from my heart to yours, which is how I like to end the videos. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you think you might benefit from it, then I invite you to stick around. And when you're ready, let's begin. So, pain. Pain is an inevitable part of the human condition. And mindfulness is really it is not spiritual bypassing as often people think. There's this misconception that mindfulness is about being calm and happy all the time, or that mindfulness is about relaxation, when actually that couldn't be further from the truth. Mindfulness isn't about achieving a certain state. It is not about relaxing. Mindfulness is the practice of insight. Really, it's about paying attention in the present moment on purpose, without judgment, to things as they are. And by doing that, we bring awareness to our experiences, our inner experiences, and our external experiences. And through this insight, we're able to cultivate wisdom and take compassionate action. So, in a nutshell, that's what mindfulness is about. And how does this idea of inevitability of pain relate to mindfulness? Well, mindfulness is a practice which really allows us to embrace the human condition. It is not about bypassing it and achieving a state of denial of reality. Mindfulness really invites us to ground ourselves into reality and really dig our roots into the earth, into this earth, this world, and be active citizens and participants of the human experience. So, in mindfulness, we acknowledge that pain is inevitable, that it is a innate part of being human. At some point or another in our lives, we will experience pain to different degrees, and that can't be taken away from our experience. Believing or expecting our experience of life to always be blissful and free of pain can cause suffering, because it makes us resist what is actually happening. So there's this idea in mindfulness that pain is inevitable and suffering is a choice. In Buddhist tradition, pain is seen as the first dart. And the first dart, we can't escape it. It happens to us. Life throws different things at us at different points, and we can't really control that. Suffering, however, is caused by how we react to things. For example, we might have a headache, and that's the first start, that's pain, and we begin to interpret and we begin to give meaning to that experience of the headache. And we might say things such as, it always happens to me, or why do things have to be this way? Why is this headache here? It will be like this forever. I will always have a headache. Or why does this always happen to me? Or this is happening at the wrong time. Things like that. And what happens is that we are resisting the pain. And what do I mean by resisting? By resisting, I mean that we're pushing it away. And when we push our experiences away, we're creating resistance. And pain coupled with resistance equals suffering. So in Buddhist tradition, using the metaphor of the dart, while pain is the first dart, suffering is the second dart. And that can be avoided by looking at the ways in which we react to our experiences, to our inevitable experiences, the way we react to our circumstances, to people's actions and decisions, the way we react to our thoughts, our emotions, our moods. Looking at that, bringing awareness to these patterns of reactivity and making a choice to respond rather than react. So, for example, going back to the metaphor of the headache, you might notice that you have a headache, and your first reaction might be to say, "Why me?" So you notice that thought, and you notice that with that thought also comes an emotional reaction, which might manifest as irritation, frustration, anger, even disappointment. And then that is the emotional reaction. And then we break down that emotion into physical sensations and thoughts. So you can see an emotion as a physical sensation or a cluster of physical sensations coupled with a thought or a narrative about ourselves, others, and the world. So we break it down in that way. And we might, for example, experience a clenching of the jaw. So the anger, for example, might show up in the body as jaw tension, tension in our hands or our shoulders. We might sense a closing of the chest, a sense of contraction of the chest. So we break it down that way. And then those physical sensations are accompanied by a thought. And that thought is, why me? Why always me? Why does it always happen to me? So we bring our awareness to our reaction to the headache. And then from that place, we make a choice. Whenever we feed those thoughts, for example, we might continue to think on top of those thoughts, such as, why me? I remember the last time it happened, and it happened, and it was awful, and it will be even worse. And then all these thoughts begin to happen, and often these thoughts are either generalizations or they are catastrophizing thoughts. So we're either thinking about the worst possible scenario, or we're generalizing. So we're applying that specific situation to the rest of our lives, our past, and our future as well. And when we do that, when we add fuel to the flame, we cause suffering to ourselves rather than seeing the headache as an event that is temporary and that does not define our worth or the course of our lives. So I hope that makes sense. So just summarizing, pain is inevitable, suffering is avoidable, and it is optional. Pain can be seen as the first dart, and suffering can be seen as the second dart. And while the first dart is what life throws at us, which is often outside of our control, the second dart is what we make the pain mean, what stories we attach to it about ourselves, others, the world, life in general. And those stories can be unhelpful because it might lead us into a vicious cycle of generalization, catastrophizing, which can cause us anxiety, depression. So what we're doing in mindfulness really is that we're becoming aware of our pain, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and we're also becoming aware of the stories that we attach to that pain, our suffering. And by doing that, by becoming aware of our patterns of suffering, we're actually making space, like creating space around these stories so as to question them perhaps, or see them for what they are, which is just stories. So not overly identifying with them, and over time letting them go so that we can practice remaining with the first start, which is pain, without it escalating into suffering, without adding that additional layer of suffering. So if you have any questions, comments about this, or insights, please share them. I would love to hear from you in the comments, and I will reply. So now, if you're ready, and if you'd like to, I invite you to practice a body scan with me. And for that, you might lie down, sit down, or even stand up, or go into astronaut position, which is where you're laying down on your back, but your legs are lifted, and your lower legs are they're resting on a surface, such as the edge of your bed or sofa. And yeah, what else? Yes, and then bringing anything that may remind you of that sense of kindness and compassion that we're cultivating in mindfulness, whether that's a cushion, pillow, blanket, warm scarf, perhaps a hot water bottle if you're cold. So I invite you to consider what you might need for the practice. And then when you're ready, finding a position that feels right for you. And perhaps beginning by simply landing here. Landing in the space you're in. Adjusting your posture perhaps. checking in with your neck, perhaps moving it from side to side. And you might lower your gaze, keep your eyes open if you prefer, or close them if that feels right for you. And then feeling the points of contact of your body with the ground below you, with the surface below you, feeling your feet, whatever they may be resting on. If you're lying down, perhaps noticing your ankles touching the surface, bringing your awareness to your sitting bones and feeling the way they contact the surface below you, your back, noticing if you're resting your back on anything, checking in with your shoulders and perhaps seeing if you're holding tension in the shoulders. Perhaps your back is hunched forward, and if so, just noticing that, and then seeing if on the inhale you can imagine moving the air into this part of the body, and then on the exhale, seeing if the shoulders can release a little bit. Wonderful. So now beginning by becoming aware of the breath, perhaps connecting to your belly, placing one or both hands on the belly. You might take one or two conscious breaths in through the nose or mouth and out through the mouth. So and noticing where you feel your breath in your body. Perhaps you feel it in your chest or in your belly. And whatever the case may be, simply noticing it here. And now bringing your awareness, the torchlight of your awareness, to your feet, shining the torchlight of your awareness over the feet, the soles of the feet, the top of the feet, your toes, your ankles. Beginning by feeling into the feet, not thinking about the feet or having an idea of the feet, rather sensing into the feet, seeing what sensations are present in the feet right now. Seeing what you notice, perhaps tingling or itching, or you might feel your socks or shoes wrapped around your feet. Perhaps you might feel the fabric of your socks around the feet. Noticing perhaps if your legs are crossed and seeing if you can uncross them. And then bringing your awareness to your toes, seeing if you can sense into them. The left toes, the right toes, the top of the feet. And if you don't feel anything in this part of the body, that's fine. And what we do in mindfulness is we notice not noticing. So we're not creating sensations, rather we're just seeing what's ready to arise to our awareness. We're simply seeing what's ready to arise in our awareness. And then moving your awareness up to your shins and calf muscles and seeing what you can feel here on both legs. Seeing if you can feel the sensations on the surface of your skin. Perhaps any contact with the air around you. Perhaps some parts of the skin are more exposed than others. And just seeing if you can notice that. And there is no failure or success in mindfulness. It's just what your experience is right now. And whenever the mind wanders off to thoughts of the past or future, planning, seeing if you can return your awareness as gently as you can back to the shins and calf muscles. And now moving your awareness up to your knees and sensing the area below the knees, around the knees. And whenever the mind gets distracted, as it naturally will, noticing that, and then gently returning it back to now the legs, the thighs, and seeing what you can sense here in the thighs. Perhaps any warmth or coolness, or perhaps some tension, or an achiness. Seeing if you can really allow the sensations to be there. If you can allow them to rise to your awareness. And if you don't feel anything, reminding yourself that you've done nothing wrong and that we're simply noticing what's there. And now moving your awareness as gently as you can to the area of the hips and pelvis and lower back. Seeing what you sense here. If there's any pain in this part of the body or discomfort, noticing where it is, where it's located, and seeing if there's any resistance towards that pain, Perhaps not wanting it to be there, pushing it away, expecting your body to be in a different, better state perhaps. And whatever the case may be, noticing this resistance, bringing a sense of compassion to it and to yourself, knowing that resisting things is what we do as humans sometimes. And seeing where this resistance is showing up in the body. Perhaps there's tension in the jaw or the shoulders or neck, or perhaps a racing mind, thoughts taking you away from the sensations in your body. And if so, seeing if you can return your attention to an anchor, such as your breath, or a part of the body you feel more comfortable returning to, if the breath isn't a comfortable place for you to be. And whenever the pain is too intense, seeing if you can open your awareness up and expanding it to the rest of your body, to the sensations that are present here. And then whenever you feel ready, you can narrow it back towards the pain or the discomfort. And now moving your awareness up to the belly, perhaps placing your hand here or both hands, and seeing if you can notice the movement of the belly, if there's any, if you can notice any movements. Perhaps you might or might not feel the breath in this part of the body, and seeing what your experience of the belly is right now. And then seeing if we can move our awareness further into the belly, towards the stomach and the organs here. Noticing if there's any tension or discomfort, or perhaps the feeling of an empty stomach or a full one. Or perhaps you don't notice much, and that's okay too. And whenever you find yourself tensing up against the sensations and going into thoughts and stories about why does it always happen to me? Or why is this pain here? Or going into fixing, thinking about what you need to do to get rid of the pain or the discomfort. Seeing if you can become aware of these patterns of thinking, these thoughts of not wanting the pain to be there, and seeing if you can return your awareness really gently and really kindly back to your anchor. And what we're doing is we're not pushing away the thoughts. We're not pushing away the resistance against the pain. We're making space for the resistance to be here too. The not wanting or expecting things to be different. The shoulds and shouldn'ts. The coulds and couldn'ts. And now moving your awareness to your chest and seeing what's here in the chest. Perhaps a feeling of ease or expansion or contraction or tightness. Seeing if you can sense into your heartbeat, or if you can feel the breath in the chest. And now moving your awareness to your back, your upper back, and seeing what's there, perhaps any pain or discomfort there, or coolness, warmth, or holding tightly. Perhaps you feel the contact of your back with the floor, the surface below you. Seeing if you can notice what's there. Sensing into the back rather than thinking about the back. And now gently stirring your awareness to your shoulders and neck and jaw. And seeing if we're hunching our back forward or what our neck feels like. Noticing what our neck feels like. If there's any strands of hair touching the neck, and seeing if you can bring a sense of ease to the neck or shoulders, perhaps if there's any tension, acknowledging that first and then perhaps breathing into this part of the body. Imagining bringing the air into these parts, and then on the exhale, seeing if they are ready to release. And then moving our awareness all the way down along our arms to our hands. Seeing if you can sense your sleeves around your skin and any other sensations deeper in the arms, perhaps even in your muscles or bones. And seeing if you can bring an attitude of curiosity as best as you can, as if you were experiencing the arms for the very first time. And now sensing into the wrists, the left wrist and the right wrist, and the hands, the left hand, the right hand, and seeing if you can get specific with the sensations. Imagining narrowing your attention to each finger, your thumb, your index, your middle finger, your ring finger, your pinky finger. Noticing any sense of aliveness or tingling, or perhaps feeling the air on your hands or anything else. Seeing if you can allow sensations to be here. Seeing if you can allow your experience to be here. And now moving your awareness up to your jaw, seeing if there's any tightness there. And perhaps if there is, seeing if the jaw can dissolve some of its tension. Perhaps either imagining dissolving the tension or seeing if you can relax the jaw just for just a little bit and just for now. And then becoming aware of the lips, noticing if the lips are pursed or open, and your tongue, if it's resting on your palate, your upper palate or your lower palate. Seeing if you can feel your teeth. Not so much bringing an idea of the teeth to mind, an image of the teeth, but really seeing if you can sense into the teeth. Perhaps noticing where they touch the lips, or if there are any sensations there. And then moving your awareness up to your nose and seeing if you can feel the entrance of your nostrils. Seeing if you can feel the air as it moves in through the nostrils. Perhaps seeing if you can notice the tip of your nose, what it feels like. And then your eyebrows. Can you feel the hair of your eyebrows, their weight on your face? Not so much thinking about the weight or thinking about how much they weigh, but really sensing into them, feeling their weight. And if you don't, knowing that that's okay too, knowing that that's your experience of the eyebrows right now, knowing that there is no right or wrong way to feel the eyebrows. No right or wrong way for the eyebrows to be. Now seeing if you can feel your eyelashes, the balls of your eyes, your eyelids, perhaps feeling any sensations of the eyelids. Often we can hold tiredness in the eyelids. We can feel it showing up there, or fatigue in our eyelids, in our forehead. And now moving your awareness to your forehead and seeing perhaps with curiosity if you're holding a frown. And if so, seeing if the frown is ready to dissolve, even if just a little bit. And noticing what happens to your thoughts when the frown dissolves. What happens in your chest when the frown dissolves. And now becoming aware of your scalp and seeing what sensations are here. And whenever you find yourself wanting to fix sensations or not wanting them to be there, judging them, expecting to find your experience differently, acknowledging that resistance, and then seeing if we can gently return to the sensations. Noticing your hair, and if your hair is touching or brushing your skin really lightly. And if you don't have any hair, just noticing the air around you and the way it feels on your scalp and your ears. Seeing what you can notice in the ears, the outside of the ears, the inside of the ears. And now seeing if you can take in the whole of your body with your awareness, from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes and the feet. And seeing if with your whole awareness you can include the whole of your body the way it is right now, without trying to change or fix it, without judging it, yourself, and seeing if you can allow yourself to bathe in the sense of wholeness and enoughness of your body. No needing to fix or change anything. Knowing you are enough just as you are. And knowing your body's resilience as different emotions, sensations, thoughts show up in your experience. Knowing its wisdom as well, because it knows where you've been, who you are, your needs, wants, preferences, And now, as we come to the end of the practice, you might choose to twiddle your toes, stretch or yawn, or open your eyes if they were closed. Taking your time to return to the space. And now, from my heart to yours, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be free from suffering, may you come to love and accept all that you are, even your mistakes. May you navigate the waves of change with ease and grace. May you come to accept pain as an inevitable thing. And may you become aware of your own patterns of suffering so as to release them as best you can with time. And may you live with ease, and may you know joy. If you'd like to share your experience of the practice in the comments, please do so. I'd be delighted to read them and reply. And if instead you prefer to journal about your experience of the practice, any resistance you may have noticed, any physical sensations, emotions, thoughts, then feel free to consider doing that, or using any other kind of creative media to express yourself. Until next time, bye.